Over the weekend in Maine, a white man was brutally beaten to death by a mob wielding bricks and bats. Of course, most Americans saw no mention of this horrific case by the mainstream media, and it's all because of one infuriating reason. Maine resident Donald Giusti has died after being beaten by a group of Somali youths with sticks and bricks in yet another of Lewiston's Muslim mob attacks like the one in which two residents were brutalized by bat-wielding migrant children on May 17. Right. Photo credit. Facebook, YouTube. Throughout Europe, political and cultural revolutions have erupted as Westerners desperately try to salvage their country's values and heritage from the growing threat of mass Islamic migration. Unfortunately, as anti-jihad harbingers have warned for decades, the same outcome is manifesting in America thanks to feel-good liberal policies. Disturbingly, ethnically homogeneous migrant communities have begun festering in the U.S., in which Sharia law is freely being enforced as local authorities turn a blind eye out of fear of political correctness. Just as we've predicted, it has once again resulted in the brutal murder of an American citizen. However, the most sinister aspect of the savage homicide is the behavior of the mainstream media. The media, which once upheld its moral duty to report the unsavory truth, has officially buried a serious national story concerning a probable hate crime murder because the killers are Somali Muslim asylum seekers. In fact, even the local outlets that have covered the horrific case have blatantly omitted any mention of the perpetrator's race or migrant status, referring to the mob of Muslim murderers as teens. According to the Lewiston Sun-Journal, 38-year-old Donald Giusti died on Friday evening after he was attacked and beaten by a mob of 30 to 40 people, Somali migrants. Lewiston's Kennedy Park. Giusti was smashed in the head with migrants wielding sticks, bats, pipes, and bricks after Somali teens in a car reportedly drove past and shot pellets and BB guns at the victim and several companions. Absurdly, even the police were cautious in their description of the murderers, hinting at the suspect's Somali migrant background by referring to their different ethnic origins. When asked by the media if race played a part in the homicide, there were certainly different ethnic origins involved in the fight. Lewiston Police Lieutenant David St. Pierre said Thursday, "I don't know exactly how many. We get reports, or I've seen on social media and other outlets that people are saying there are as many as 30 or 40 people from different ethnic backgrounds. I don't know that to be accurate." The park is notorious for being a hotbed for Somali migrant violence and has received recent attention for similar mob attacks. In fact, the city of Lewiston has been overtaken by Somali migrants who perpetuate racism and violence. This is far from the first incident of Somalian attacks at Kennedy Park. Recently, a 10-year-old girl was jumped and beaten by a Somali girl at the park. As such occurrences become more common in Lewiston, many lifelong residents are now afraid to bring their own children to play. On any given day, dozens if not hundreds of Somali youth can be found occupying Kennedy Park, and the violence is nothing new. Local residents bearing the brunt of these violent mobs are growing frustrated. Maine First Media was told it took police at least 7 to 8 minutes to arrive on the scene, despite the police station being right across the street from the park. Expectedly, YouTube has removed the original video of the May 17 attack by Somali Muslim youths on two local residents in Kennedy Park, forcing others to re-upload the footage. In the video, Somalis as young as 9 years old brandish bats and other blunt objects to beat the pair of park-goers. Unbelievably, the victims chose not to press charges against their attackers, allowing the city to forego recording the event as part of their crime statistics. However, despite the increasing violence from the Somali migrant community, Lewiston Mayor Shane Bouchard continues to capitulate to these criminal asylum seekers. Kennedy Park is a large common space in the middle of some of the poorest census tracts in the Northeast, Mayor Bouchard said. When you have large, diverse groups of people in the same place, you are bound to have incidents. Lewiston is no different in that respect than any other medium to large city, except that Lewiston's violent crime rate is one of the lowest in Maine. Maine now boasts Islamic brutality such as mob violence and female genital mutilation thanks to its growing Somali communities. Still, the mayor, police, and media have kneeled before their Muslim overlords, hoping that their willingness not to offend will spare them from a sinister outcome. What they fail to realize is that if the West falls to Islamic totalitarianism, they will be the first to go. Everything the left values is despised, prohibited, and cruelly punished under Sharia law. The irony in the left's tolerance of Islam is that Islam has no tolerance for the left. They are merely making allies with the progressive left for the time being. Once they have grown in number and power, they will turn on their liberal allies as they're already doing in Europe. Facebook has greatly reduced the distribution of our stories in our readers' news feeds and is instead promoting mainstream media sources. When you share on social media, however, you greatly help distribute our content. Please take a moment and consider sharing this article with your friends and family. Thank you. Female genital mutilation, Islam police racism.